said you lied. Somebody already said.
Hello, 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 everybody. Give us just a couple of minutes. Give us just a minute. One more minute. Huh? What?
Hey, thank you for calling my name.
Your brother.
So figure out why your laptop's doing that.
Huh?
You gotta figure out why your laptop is doing that.
Hey, everybody, give us just about 30 seconds. 30 seconds!
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, definitely.
Hey, everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. Holy cow, I gotta let you know. The cruise was absolutely amazing. 93 people, had a great time. So it's time to announce the next one. We're gonna do it just a little bit different though. First of all, let me tell you, we picked a cool place. It's gonna be an absolute blast. But, well, you can't just sign up to go. You're actually gonna have to go to work. You have to qualify to be able to attend this.
Wait a minute. You mean they have to earn the right to pay them their own way there? We're gonna be there. That's where the winners.
What?
It's magical.
Deb Cheslow and Angie Flynn will be on this trip with us. Did you hear what she said? Because she's correct. You have to earn your right to be able to pay your own way to come on vacation. Folks, that's where people begin to pull together. Deb, tell us just a quick second. Is this something that people could maybe start imagineering?
Oh, absolutely. You want to make it happen, I guarantee there's a way to find the time, the money, the babysitters, everything you need. If you want it bad enough, you'll find a way. And you don't want to miss it because it is going to be magical to have a group of like-minded people like that together. I promise.
So folks, here it is. A, you're going to get to spend some time with Deb Cheslow. She is already committed to coming on the trip with us. Now look, that doesn't mean you're going to be able to go hold her hostage in your room and ask her questions all day. No, she's going to be enjoying herself and having fun. But, you know, when you're hanging out around the pool in Cancun at Fiesta Americana, May 7th to the 11th, 2017. Did you hear that? Cancun, Fiesta Americana, Ambit style, the 7th to the 11th.
I love it.
Isn't that cool?
That's
It just
awesome.
works out. That's 2017, so you have a year, but you got to qualify by the end of April. Now we've been talking about that. I think they have to go sponsor somebody that goes EC by the end of the month.
Wow. A little bit too much of a fantasy, I think. Yeah.
Okay, but even if they imagineered it,
Probably not.
okay. What about if they just gather a customer?
You're going to have 2,000 people there. Or you're going to have nobody because that's what people aren't doing is getting customers.
Oh my God, boy, she's putting it, woo! Here's what you gotta do. You see it, 1, 2. You have to personally sponsor 2 people who also trigger their bonus between right now and the end of April. Listen, they can't join the last day of April unless you got customers for them instantly because they have to be triggered by the end of April.
That's it.
That's it.
Anybody can do that, folks. Come on. Come to Cancun with us.
Now, we have limited space, right? It's you and somebody else in the room. That's you and your spouse, you and your boyfriend, you and your girlfriend, whatever it is. 2 people per room. I think maybe you can even put 3 or 4, all right? But here's the deal. You can't contact anybody yet about the trip. You got to qualify first. Talk to Daryl Starkweather over at corporate. He's going to let us verify that, well, everybody did it, right? So there's going to be some accountability to this. There's a special email address. We can make up a new email address. There's a special email address called Cancun at team526.biz. CANCUN, Cancun at team526.biz. You send the email after you've sponsored 2 personal consultants who also trigger their bonus. Once you do that, send us an email in the subject line. It just says Cancun, baby. Okay? Absolutely.
Awesome.
Give us the name of the 2 consultants and then wait for our response, because here's what we're going to allow you to do. We're going to allow you to make your first payment. You can do this in installments. Your first payment will be due May 1st, your second one in August, next one in November, your last one sometime in 2017, just before the trip. So we're going to make it super simple. You want to pay it all up front? That's cool. The travel agent will be accessible to each and every single one of us to work hand in hand with. We're making this as easy as humanly possible. Sponsor 2 consultants who trigger. Do it by the end of April. Send the email to Cancun at team526.biz. Let us know their names. Put Cancun Baby in the subject line and get ready to have an absolute blast. Can you imagine a couple of hundred of us overtaking the beach? Oh, that's right. They're going to treat us a little bit different. We're going to have some private cocktail time. They're going to close the beach down for us, folks. It's going to be unique. It's going to be special. And it's going to be in the honor with Deb Cheslow there.
You know what I like best? It's cool. You're going to go to this incredible place, be with like-minded people, guaranteed businesses, something like that. But the only way to get there is to build your business. I love that.
Kind of cool, isn't it? And you know what I am looking forward to is what happens on the 12th of May when everybody gets home, because they're going to want to be on the next one as well. Hey, God bless you guys. I hope you join us all on the trip. Hey, you want a quick favor? You want a little surprise? Well, then just keep watching. We're about to let you see the whole afternoon as you get trained by millionaires. Tim Ollinger, who's just literally days from National. You're also going to get trained by Nationals Jim and Kim Mason. My wife's going to get up there, and myself. So, hey, just sit tight, stay tuned. We'll get started in about 5 minutes. God bless you guys. Let's get on the trip.
Take care. We'll be seeing you soon.
Oh, he's one. He's one. That makes a little difference, huh? Hey, everybody, let's find our seats. Let's find our seats, everybody. It's time to get started. Deb Cheslow's table will be open after the training, so don't worry, you will not get left out, but let's find our seats.
I probably should have stated that.
You know what? Yeah. This was a big selling.
All right. So what'd you guys think? Okay, so this is the third time that I've seen this, and I actually learned some new stuff today. I mean, every time you see it, every time you hear her speak, every time you see her slides, you learn something new. Now, Texas. Now, we started our business about 5.5 years ago. Well, okay, my wife started our business about 5.5 years ago. She will walk in and tell you that, okay? And, you know, I was there for that conversation. She was in the right place at the right time, talking to the right person, met a complete stranger. That lady, that was on a Sunday. She said just enough to get my wife to a meeting on a Tuesday. Now, I was there for that talk, and I heard I could save some money on my electricity bill, and I lived in Texas. So, man, the middle of the summer, we had a 4,000 square foot house, 5 kids. We were paying $500-600 a month easy on our electricity bill. So I wanted to lower that. I missed the business, you know, opportunity part of it. So Tuesday, she went to the meeting. 3 hours later, she came home and joined and said, "We're in the business. We are in the business. I put your name on it, so you better go make sure that I did a good thing." I spent $459.08. So I did. And to say that it's changed our life is a complete understatement. It's completely blessed us. Ambit Energy has given us something that working for someone, even as an executive and owning my own business, couldn't give us. It gave us the time freedom that we were always after. You know, no matter what I did, it seemed that I could never actually make enough money to keep up with my wife. Okay, but I found something, Ambit Energy. Now, nobody tells us when we can spend time with our 5 kids. No one tells us what we're worth. And I got to be up here in Erie, Texas with all you guys. Well, Erie, Texas. My mind's in Texas. It's 84 degrees in Texas, okay? Sorry about that. Erie, Pennsylvania, with all you guys enjoying this nice, chilly weather, okay?
And I'm Ryan Atkinson. I've actually lived in Buffalo, New York for 6 months now. I moved up from right where Kevin actually lives, from Houston, Texas. The reason being is because I saw a lot of people up here who really needed a lot of help financially, and maybe on a timely manner as well. And I just saw the opportunity and went to jump on it because I wasn't attached to a job that had me working a certain amount of time every single week, a certain shift for a certain pay. I never liked the fact that I had a boss before. I've had 5 jobs in life, and 3 of them I had a boss. And what I noticed was he was telling me exactly how much money I was worth to him. But what I found out with this business is that I could really start to take control of my own life. You see, whenever I was growing up, my parents actually got divorced at a very young age. They were young too, I was only a year old. And what I really noticed was my mother, she still works the same job today. She's been there for almost 27 years. And my stepfather actually works at the same place now for the past 15 years. And he works shift work. They are always gone throughout my childhood. I grew up in a daycare center from the hours of 5:30 in the morning until about 6:30 in the evening. So they were never ever home to raise the one child that they had at their home. And on the other side of the family, I noticed my dad, he was always home. Now, unfortunately, we didn't have money, but he was always home. But he found a way that he could make money and still be at home. And so before I finished up high school, for the last 3 years that I was there, I actually got to see my father. He got to pick me up from school in his brand new Corvette that he didn't even have started at the lot because he wanted to be the first one to start it before he drove it off. And he picked me up from school in that Corvette, and everybody standing there was just awestruck because here comes this Corvette down in this country school back here and picking up somebody, and that somebody was me. And it just felt amazing, and I knew that this company was doing something to allow us the freedom to really do what we want to do. So I got to move all the way across the country on a choice, not because I had to. And now I just get to simply enjoy life, and every day I'm trying to improve this business more and more so I can help other people as well. But we do have some other people here that we could hear from who have really made a drastic change in their life. So let's hear from them.
My name is Mario Price. I drove over from Silver Spring, Maryland, just a short 5-hour drive. I'm the guy on your chicken list. See, I'm the person that the Georgetown Law degree, worked on Wall Street, has an MBA, all those things that tell you that you just probably doesn't need this. But what was not known was that I was working 60 to 80 hours a week, every week, if I was lucky, just to be broke even. And fortunately, my sponsors called me after about 4 or 5 months, and I finally saw it, and I said, look, what I'm doing is not going to get me out of this situation, so I said, let me give it a try. So I'm excited that I've been able to actually retire from practicing law full-time as of last September, which was great because I thought it was going to give me time to spend with my family, my 12-year-old, except my wife gave me a little surprise that's due in July, so now I'm going to stay home now.
say, Tim Ollinger shared this opportunity with me, and I can't really say that it's thanks to Tim, it's really missing. She was the one that said, you need to show this to Dave. And I'm grateful that they did, because guys, the situation I was in is this. I've been a contractor all my life, and I was literally working myself to death. That's just how I felt. No plans for retirement, hadn't been taught, I guess, that I really needed to take care of that on my own. No 401k. I saw this opportunity, came in, got started right away. I'd been in network marketing, so I understood the value of what we were doing, and it just took off, and it really changed my life. One of the things that I think that the impact that it has, it's not just about the money. As I have so many friends that are like family, I can't put a value or a price tag on that, and that has honestly changed my life in so many ways. Going forward, I can't wait to flush this construction business. It's getting closer, but it's not close enough. And that's my fault. That's for me not being active enough. And I did really relate a lot to what Deb Chesel said. I went through some things in my life that kind of took me out of the game for a while. So it was exciting to see it and know that all you got to do is re-engage. So thank you so much, guys.
Been interesting the last few weeks. We're Greg and Beth Corso. We've been in Ambit just about a little over 5 years. Prior to that, I was in law enforcement, and I wanted to retire, but I knew I had to do something else financially, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then Ambit came into our lives, and we both saw it, and we took it and ran with it. And prior to that, though, I had a choice. He said, "Well, we can either do Ambit or I can become a Walmart greeter." So that wasn't hard for me to decide which one to do. And so we took it and ran with it, and in 18 months, I was able to retire. So I've been retired. It's going to come up 4 years already.
All right, Dave Larkin. It was all about the money, okay? For me, it was in the beginning. I made money. I was accustomed to money. I saw something that had potential to make even more money. But you know what? It isn't about the money anymore. I realized what this business has done for me. It's given me freedom, and it's given me the ability to take care of myself. And it didn't become possible understanding that until it hit me 6 months into the business. I no longer have to be worried about him taking time off of work when I go to get treatments every 3 months. This little hiccup here, he didn't have to take time off of work to stay home and take care of me. So this business has brought us money, friendships, and the peace of mind of knowing that we can take care of ourselves without having to go to a JOB.
Hi guys, I'm Executive Consultant Greg Day. This is my wife Fran Day, and this is the future National Consultant Mackenzie Day. Our story is similar to others. When just a few short years ago, somebody called us, like I'm sure you were all giving that phone call, and at the time we didn't have any time. It was one of our neighbors. We have a little farm up here in New York. We didn't have any time at all. We own 5 assisted living facilities in Pittsburgh. I'm a national college soccer official. The NCAA pushes me up and down the East Coast 60 games a year. I was coaching a local high school team. I was coaching another team in the spring of all the best players. And I was filming a TV show for the Outdoor Channel. So when we sat down in the Mason's kitchen, it was like this. All the buying signs were there. And then she said, look, all we do is save people money, and we get paid to save people money on those bills they have to pay. Then she had free energy. And I looked at her, I said, I guess we're in. She goes, you haven't even seen how they get paid yet. I said, you have 30 cousins. And then a little guy from Texas called me and said, listen, Doc, keep it simple, just help people. And thanks to this business, all 5 of those assisted living homes are closed. Thank you, guys.
Good afternoon, everybody. Everybody having a great time so far? I am. My name's Peter John Cyril. This is my beautiful wife, Mary, and she's going to give our testimony. Thanks.
this business 4 years in April, and our story is much like everyone else's. When we were first approached, we had no time. 2 weeks I started before I told him, because I knew that he'd say, you're crazy. But fast forward those 4 years, lots of conversations around our table, because we have 5 children that are grown, and we have 5 grandchildren. It was always about a legacy that we could create for our children, and more so for our community. And I just want you to know that our children are very well provided for, and Ambit has allowed us an opportunity to make a huge difference in our community. So thank you very much.
Hey guys, Mike Burrows from Erie, Pennsylvania here. This is Mike Sr., Mike Jr. And I started my Ambit business 3 years ago. I wish you all could see like where I was at, especially my state of mind, before this business. I've been a police officer for 17 years and was dying inside, and that's the honest to God truth. And 3 years into this business, I just got my new police ID yesterday, and it's at the top it says retired law enforcement. What this business can do for you, buy your time back. I get to stay at home and put this little guy on the bus every single day. You have no idea what this business can do for you. It wasn't easy by any means, but neither is being stuck in a trap on a wheel. I know that people don't like going to their job. You'll never have to do it if you just sacrifice 3 or 4 years in this business right here.
Well, isn't this nice? The first time I don't have to worry about being down in front where no one can see me. I get to be up on stage. Great. But I didn't get my name up there, didn't get into the tickets in time. But my name's Chris Niles. I'm the executive consultant at Ambit. This all began for me about February 3rd, 2014, about 10:30 in the morning. We were working on a high-profile case. I worked in corrections my whole life. For 12 years, I was a book supervisor. Had an accident about 2010. I was in a tree accident where a tree actually fell, hit my back, broke my back, and paralyzed me from the chest down, okay? Put me in a wheelchair, and fast forward, I was sitting in my office. They hired me back to do intelligence work for Orange County. And I wanted to keep working. I wasn't done yet, but I was looking. Woo! Good. I appreciate that. And I had people show me this opportunity several times, and I got to tell you, I didn't even look at it. Okay, so it's real important. Like when they teach you, it's got to be short, sweet, and get it away from them, take it away from them. Okay, because I didn't realize what this was. My best friend came in my office, interrupted me, said, "Let me see your wallet." I said, "For what?" He said, "Just give me your wallet. Don't worry about it." And he took my card out and he signed me up. I was an Ambit consultant. I didn't even know what was going on. That's how I got started. And, it's truly been a blessing for me. And I'm going to tell everybody here, I had no experience in any of this. I was a people person my whole life. I love helping people. I was a guy that would do anything for anybody. I was the guy that would just pick up the phone and call. Anything you need, I would do for you. So, fast forward my life to where I'm at now. I was able to get out of my part-time job. I was able to resign from the jail September 8th of this year. And that was a huge blessing. Thank you. And the most important thing in life is the time freedom. For me, taking care of myself. I have 2 little boys, 15 and 13 years old. And just having my time in the morning to get up and do what I want throughout my day has been the biggest blessing on earth. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Thank you.
Well, folks, I love hearing the testimonials because you really get to see how it changes people's lives. And I get to introduce the next people who their lives have changed a lot as well. So I'm not going to steal any thunder from them, but they do wear yellow jackets, which means they've made over $1 million, and they're national consultants right here from our area. So please help me welcome Jim and Kim Mason.
Most of you are pretty familiar with the basics. We have them periodically, typically on a monthly basis at the weekly meetings. So if you're plugged into the system, that's what we're talking about. The system that each and every one of us can plug into. And I will just share with you a little bit. Initially, we thought we were the system. And we've had people in our business that have, for whatever reason, had to take some time off from the business. And the phrase that we heard one time was, the wheels fell off while I was gone. Because they were the system. If you want this business to be about you, it's going to be a really small business, and it's going to be a lot of extra work. What I'm going to encourage you to do is point to the system and use the system for a couple of reasons. The first and most important part of it is you don't lose anything in translation. If I started here with just one sentence and passed it on to Peter and Ernie and so on, by the time it got to the back of the room, they are making stuff up. You got anybody like that in your business? You wonder where they came up with that? So we're going to talk about the system real briefly today, and I want you to just plug into the system and point to the system.
I was talking with Debbie before we came up here, and I said, really, all we really need to tell you guys is just to go into Power Zone and watch the Jumpstart training that Chris does now in Power Zone. Isn't that fabulous? Let's do it for that. That really is the system that we've used to make the success of ourselves and everybody else that's actually successful in Ambit. They plugged into that simple system. And guys, it's really simple for a reason. You want your business to duplicate. Would you guys agree with me on that? If you complicate this and you fluff it all up and you become the energy expert, the person that you're showing this business to, what are they going to say? That sounds great, but I can't do that. So we're going to just hone in on the system today. We had 20 minutes to do it, and it's already clicking away, but you know, I could just point to the slide that's up there and tell you guys just do that, because that is what's going to create your success. So there are two fundamentals to the system. The first two are the first two on this list right up behind me, and that is the invitations, and that is making a list. So I'm going to talk for just a minute about making that list. I'm going to tell you guys, each and every one of you, here's how you make a list. You make a list. It's not that complicated. You actually get on a pen and paper and you write names down. Or you actually do it on an Excel spreadsheet. It's not in your phone, it's not on a soccer team roster, it's not on the church roster, it's something you actually have to do. And to show you how important that is, I'd like all the executive consultants in the room to stand up. Now I have a question for you. I want you to sit down if you have not added anybody to your list within this last week. I got one. I lost one. But I bet you tomorrow he's going to have somebody on his list. Okay, guys. Yeah, you got to go meet somebody here in Erie. We got a great meeting here we can plug them into. But see, that's the key. The list is a living, breathing document. It didn't start when you were a marketing consultant and end when you promoted to regional or senior. It's something that you do every single day. Philip Beckert had a list when he started his Excel business. We're going back to telecom. He had 100 names on his list. He got to number 1 said no, number 2 said no, number 3 said no, got all the way to number 13. Number 13 said something long enough to keep him in the game. He got through that list, went through all 100 names, and out of those 100 names, he made $5 million in Excel communications. It's pretty awesome. But what if his list was only 10 names long? Would he have ever made it to where he is? So you have to keep adding to that list. That is our raw material. That's what makes this business tick. So when you sponsor a new consultant, the very first thing Jim and I do when we sponsor a new consultant is we don't go into Power Zone and we don't go through all the forms and everything we need to do. We turn to them and we say, who did you think of first? Who'd you think of second? Who'd you think of third? Who do you know who might like to make money and save money? We get right into making that list. Because if you sponsor 500 people and none of them have a list, how big is your business?
How much money do you make?
It's little. So that is fundamental number 1. You have to make and build a list and keep adding to it. The second step is the invitation. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Jim.
The invitation, if you've got a list, when you're working with people with a list, I start right out literally with who'd you think of first. And I like to give them a little bit of a script in that dialogue because I want them to actually make a phone call to them. But the invitation is very, very important as you start your business. And I would tell you the shorter you keep that, the better off you're going to be. And it's different for every single person that you call because it's not a script. Although we will give you some scripts, kind of as some guidelines, and we're even going to tell you some do's and don'ts, words that maybe you take out.
But I want you to understand one of the most important parts of the invitation is the thought process behind the invitation. I want you to really take this part home with you, because if I gave you a whole bunch of dialogue to say on there, but you didn't understand what you were trying to achieve, you're going to fail miserably. Even if you were successful, you're not going to get where you're going. The most important thought around an invitation is you're not really calling them up to get them into Ambit. You're calling them to schedule an appointment. And if you understand that, what are you trying to accomplish? You're staffing your store. That's the thought process behind it. So the only reason you ever call anybody or text anybody or reach out to anybody about Ambit is not about Ambit. It's not about energy. It's not about deregulation. And I'll even say it's not about an opportunity, because that word smacks of network marketing. And quite often you use the word opportunity, it's a turnoff. They say, what is it? And you're down that rabbit hole. I'm calling to schedule an appointment. And again, those are scripts. The idea is you're staffing a store. Not everybody's going to qualify in your store, and there's some psychology in the invitation. In other words, posture. When you're calling people, it doesn't mean you're going to quit because the first 5 people say, I'm busy, or can we reschedule, or I'm not interested. It means you're staffing a store. And we were talking just a few minutes ago with someone. If you knew the millions of dollars that this is worth, you'd realize it's worth whatever it is to get your store staffed. So some of the scripts, take the word opportunity, take the word just started, take the word you'd be good at. Those are all posture negative. What you want to do is say, I'm in a position to expand the number of business ideas. I'm looking for a couple people to work out. I thought of you first. It may not be anything you're interested in, but I wanted to run something by you. When can we schedule an appointment? What is it? It's a business idea. I'm calling to schedule an appointment. I've got 2 other people. That's posture. You understand? In other words, don't go into electricity. Who's your provider? I know they're using that up in Massachusetts because we have a 30% savings. It may come back to haunt you when we don't have that savings there. So we don't use energy or deregulation. I'm in a position to expand a number of business ideas. I sold the landscaping business. I was looking at some different things. I need your input. If they're really high credibility, you're looking for their opinion on some ideas you're bouncing around, and schedule the time with them. You want to go over the text thing? The texting thing works terrific. We're in a text era. 3.5 years ago, I wouldn't have suggested that. Don't use Facebook unless you're trying to get contact information. Don't send it out in mass emails. Those are just some of the criteria around the invitation.
Regarding the texting, my guys, we have been having a lot more success with that. I'm going to help you guys understand that. If I call up my son Ryan and I call him, I know he has caller ID. So I know he's looking at his phone and it says Mom. And he doesn't answer. And I can, like 2 seconds later, I can text him, and he'll reply right back, hey, what's up? Didn't see that call at all, but he saw that text. We have a great audio recording of a text invite that was done by Mario Price on our website, and there's also one done by Dennis Brown. And then I think Eric Boyd did a whole thing on text invites. They do work in this day and age. They do not replace the phone calls. They do not replace the actual picking up the phone and calling people. But you know what? In this day and age, if you just text somebody and say, hey, Debbie, what's up? She's going to text back and say, what do you need? And I'm just going to text her, I got something I need to show you. When can you be at your computer? She's not going to say, what is it? She's not going to say, is this one of those pyramid things? She'll tell me when she can be at her computer. So that's another way to get an invitation out there. It takes that fear away from that chicken bone. You know, the one that can't quite get that bone to your ear, it just doesn't reach anymore. So that's another way to get those out there. Your key in Ambit is to become a master inviter, not a master presenter. So I'm going to go over the ways we present this business now, and I want you to see if you are in the picture of presenting this business. When you go to a weekly business presentation, who does the presentation? Someone else, right? The people in the front of the room. These are ways that we present this business. When you use your websites, which I highly recommend that you do, your Energy 526 video, who's doing the presenting? Someone else. When you do a one-on-one, do you sit there and do the whole PowerPoint, or do you use your website? You use your website. Again, does that website make a mistake? Absolutely not. When you do a home show, you're usually bringing in your sponsor or somebody, or you may be doing it on your own. Do you get up there and do the whole PowerPoint, or do you press play on a video? Press play on a video. Are you in any of those pictures? No, you're not, because people make mistakes. And if you try to be the one giving the message of Ambit Energy, and then they try to give it, and they try to give it, believe me, Ambit will be purple Kool-Aid that we're all drinking and going to live with by the time we get done. That's why we use the tools that are available for the presentation. And I will tell you one of my favorite tools, and I think Beth and Greg will agree it's one of the favorite tools too, is the Success from Home magazine. Because that's what we were shown this business with. Greg was laughing down here. He drove 30 miles out of his way, cornered Jim up on the top of a roof so Jim couldn't get away, gave him the magazine, and Jim said, I'm not interested in that. He thought it was one of those other networking things. And Greg said, I don't care. Take it home and read it.
Have Kim read it.
Yeah, just take it home and have Kim read it. And I did. I read that magazine cover to cover, and I got excited. I couldn't sleep all night long. And when they called up and said, let's go to a weekly business presentation, we were in it. Or I should say I was in it. And he came along.
They bribed me with food for 3 weeks in a row. That's why I went. So I will tell you in that, and this is what we're going to next, ask for a decision. Typically, they don't quite often respond to, yeah, let's get started. And quite frankly, I don't like to ask somebody, are you ready to get started? Because it could be a yes or no. I like to ask them if they have any questions. I like to, in the process of showing the business, lead them through a series of steps where filling out the enrollment form and starting their business is just another step. In other words, I'm not looking for a yes or no. I'm leading them through a process. And that process may be scheduling another appointment. It may be taking them to a weekly meeting. It may be backing up a little bit and getting somebody else to answer their questions until they are. If you're comfortable asking them, so what do you think? It puts you a little bit on the spot. I like to say, here's what we need to do next. And part of that, if you've read any of the people skill books out there, how to win friends and influence people, how to have confidence and power in dealing with people, how I raised myself from failure to success in selling, that book has a whole chapter on closing. We're not really closing, we're getting them started. In other words, it's not a sale where we leave, we're working together. If you shove that computer across the table and shut up, the line in the book is the one who talks first loses. That powerful moment where you don't say a word, their mind is processing everything that went on. And if you've done your part right, why wouldn't they join? I shove the computer across the table on the little, click that little green button thing, and be quiet. And watch how often they start putting it out. If they don't, what are you going to do? You're going to lead them through the process so they understand how easy it is to get started. Because if you send them home without doing that, they don't know what's involved. They don't know how easy it is, and quite frankly, they won't do anything. Jim and Julie are probably one of the best examples of that. That organization may never have gotten started, except for Kim took the time to show them how to start their business, and whew, it popped up in our living room. We had new consultant, Jim and Julie Brocious. How cool is that? Another way, and this is, again, leading them through the process. As we go through this, I'm going to show you where to get your questions answered, and I'll show you what's next. It's not a script, it's just what we're going to do. So as we finish up one part, we show them what's next and go right through it. When we do get them started, that decision-making process, I'll tell you what happened with Tim. When we first got to Buffalo, Tim kind of paved the way. Greg and Beth were plugging into the meeting. It was a big meeting, 12 people. Ray Monty, Chris Atkinson, it was a big meeting. So we were there. They were playing poker, and we didn't know the rules. So I was, no, I'm not doing this. And Tim asked us every single week, so are you ready to get started? Are you ready to get started? Nope, I'm not ready to get started. He was smart enough to talk to Kim. She signed us up anyway. So make sure you're talking to the decision. It's very, very important. And I'll tell you how this works. We were in a meeting one night, and there was a lot of beer going around, and they were big beer drinkers. They were drinking a lot of beer. And the biggest guy in the room was also the loudest mouth in the room. This little blonde stood next to him and said, so are you ready to get started, or do you have to go home and check with someone? I'm not sure where she learned that in the people skill books, but he signed up on the spot. Learn people skills, folks. Learn how to lead people to make a decision. Ask affirming questions. Does this make sense to you? Is there anything that would stop you from doing this? On a scale of 1 to 10, does this make sense? Where do you find yourself? And if they say 3, say, why not a 2 or a 1? And they're going to tell you why they want to do it, not necessarily why they don't want to do it.
This is backwards psychology. Did you hear what he just said? Ask them where they are on a scale of 1 to 10. Normally they'll say 8. Your goal is, how can I get them to a 9 or a 10? Say, well, why not a 7? That makes them tell you why they want to be an 8 and not be a 7. And it works.
Steve Thompson says in his video, is there anything that would stop you from doing this? And they tell you. And then he asks the real question. addition to that, is there anything else that would stop you? In other words, we have a program to handle that. What else is stopping them? And then typically you'll find the real reason, and if you can help them work through that, you just need some more information, am I correct? And keep walking them through that.
You guys have to realize that all of this can be done by a person who starts their business today. Because you can teach them how to call up their best friend and say, hey, what are you doing? I'm coming over right now. And then you can teach them to go push play on the video. You can teach them to call them up and do the video presentation over the phone. And they might not be ready to ask for that decision, but if you let them know you are there to do that three-way call for them, you're going to help them. That person who does that three-way call is going to ask for that decision. When we hang up with a three-way call, if they're not ready to sign up, I'll say to the person, listen, I want you to take them right to your Energy 526 site. I want you to press that green button. And they're hearing me say this, even if they're not ready to get started, walk them through that enrollment form. Because that has a magical process to it, and a lot of times they will start then, but at least they know what to do. So using that system makes it simple from the get-go for anybody to find success here. If you're sponsoring someone and they're not able to do that, then my guess is you became the system and you didn't use the system. Because they're thinking, I can't do what you just did, versus them thinking, I can do what you just did. So that's the basic system in a nutshell, how you get someone started in Ambit Energy, but you don't just start them and then leave them alone. That's it, they're all done. Once you've gotten someone started, you need to reach out to them, you need to call them and make them feel welcome and make them feel supported. And in the process of doing that, that will help them learn that they need to call you. That's what accountability is. I know that Chris and Debbie, there's no way under this God-green earth that they know who they need to talk to. They've got massive amounts of consultants in their organization. But I can bet you 10 to 1, if you're one of them that are texting them every day, calling them every day. I know when we got started, Chris would look at his text and he would be like, who the heck is this person? Because I used to text like books.
Who's Jim McKim? Who's Jim McKim?
I text him books like every single day. And finally he understood, you better read these books, so I'm going to just keep texting him these books. But that's what you have to do. You have to teach your people to reach out to the people who are willing to help them. And it's not just necessarily their sponsor, their sponsor, sponsor, their sponsor, sponsor. But in Ambit, you're going to find a whole family here of people that are going to help you. And the main thing we're going to do with these guys is plug them into the system. And then you just do it on repeat, over and over and over. There's weekly business presentations that people can plug into. There's trainings, there's simulcasts, there's ambition. This is what makes your business tick. You guys don't want a full-time job, do you? You want full-time fun, right? Use the system, plug people into it, and that's what you get. You're going to get full-time fun. Why don't you do a little plugging?
We were kind of in a unique spot going in that we got started in November. So obviously we missed Ambition. We knew there was something going on because we heard a little bit of it. There were people that were coming out of it, and obviously they were very, very excited about what they'd been to and what they'd seen. For Kim and I, our first event was simulcast, and we got just an inkling that this was way bigger than just this little network marketing business. We knew it was young, we knew we were in early, we knew that was important. For you guys that are in new states, you get it. For you guys that are starting, if you haven't attended at one of the major functions and realized the scope of what we have our hands on, it's not just the training, it's your ability to network, it's the meeting after the meeting. It's more is caught than taught. It's getting around and building the relationships with people who are already successful. If you want to learn how to be a multi-millionaire, you have to learn that from a multi-millionaire. You can't learn it from your sphere of influence. So it's the opportunity to be around people that have already done it and listen and participate. And at some point, you're going to see the value of the system that we have in place. It's the simplicity of the system that makes it successful.
Guys, I wanted to share with you in closing that everything you do, it's your actions that are going to produce your results. It doesn't matter what you think, it doesn't matter what you feel, it doesn't matter what you believe, it only matters what you do. And that's why you have to step back and do the system that we just briefly outlined for you. And I also want to let you guys know it is worth every single no that you're ever going to get. Because every single no just means you're one step closer to the yes. Those no's are what allow Jim and I to drink coffee every morning until we're done and have wine at night when we want to and travel and visit our kids. And that's what we wish for you. Whatever it is your dream is, your goal, your happiness, you can find it here with Ambit Energy. So thank you guys very much. wife have been doing this. He's never home anymore because I think 14 away, am I right? 10. He was 14 last night, 10 today. That's the person who's getting stuff done. 10 away, so I'm just going to introduce him as the Brandon's newest, coming hot off the press, already almost there, national consultant, Jim Mullinger.
All right. Not live. Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay. Folks, I have a very important topic that I want to talk to you all about today. It's about what it takes to go to EC. Okay. Commitment, consistency, never quit attitude, and the ability to follow instructions. So to get to EC, you have to commit to watching TV as much as you can every single day. You have to consistently invite 1 or 2 people a month. Never quit whining about why this business works for you. And never follow instructions. Just go out there and wing it. Folks, I say that because that's what I see a lot in this business. 99% of you out here do exactly what I just said. And that's why there's only 1%, less than 1% in this business that are executive consultants. Who wants to be part of that 1% club? You all want to be part of that 1% club? Folks, those are the people that I want to talk to today. Because this is serious, okay? When you start your ambit business, you have to commit to daily action. Daily action. Not every other week action. Daily action, okay? When I saw this opportunity 5.5 years ago, I called on Missy. I said, we have to work this business. And she thought it was completely nuts. I mean, not because she didn't like the business, but she couldn't figure out where I was going to find more time. But said, I'm going to commit more time to this business. And that's what we did. How many business owners are in the room right now? You guys all commit every single day to traditional business? That landscaping business that you have, that construction business? Why wouldn't you commit every single day to this business then? Folks, that's what we have to, that's what we do with our traditional business. We commit every single day to go in our job, right? We commit 40 hours a week, every single week, in order to get that paycheck at the end of the week. And if we don't commit to those 40 hours, we don't get paid, do we? So you understand, we're sitting here on a pot of gold, and nobody wants to commit every single day. I'm not asking 8 hours every single day. Do a little bit every single day. So what are we going to commit to? Are we going to commit to what? Logging on to Facebook every single day? Checking in with our friends? Are we going to commit to that bowling week every Wednesday? Or are we going to do something a little bit different? Like logging off of Facebook, so you can take that time and commit it to your business and making that extra invite. How about getting rid of the bowling league every single Wednesday? Because what's that do for you? Really, I mean, it's fun, right? Well, commit that Wednesday to your Wednesday night business presentation so you can go help your team succeed with their businesses. See, they're not going to succeed unless you're there. If you're not going to commit every single day to work in your business, do you think your business will succeed? Do you think the teammates on your team are going to grow and develop? So that's what we have to do every single day. We have to help other people on our team day after day after day. That means calling. Like Chris would drill in my head every single day. Call 25 people every single day. Minimum 25 people every single day. That's what I did. Personal development. Jim talks about personal development, and that's important to your ambit business. Dave Fleet, I know every new consultant that he puts into his business, they get a Success magazine and a Jim Rohn CD. Every single one, because he believes in personal development. grow his team. Are you guys going to do that every single day? How many people over the last 3 days committed to calling their teammates to encourage them to go to Ambition? Not very many of you, did you? Folks, that's what it takes to grow your AMBIT business. Guide your team and show them where they need to succeed. And ambition is what we all have. I mean, I called the guy the other day, okay? I mean, I worked the phones day after day after day, those 3 days. I called up this one gentleman, I'm not going to say his name, and I asked him if he's going to be in Erie, Pennsylvania today. You know what his response was? No, I have to go to buy a new gun at a gun show today. My response was click. I didn't even say nothing. Click. Folks, if you're not going to be committed to your business, I'm not going to be committed to your business either. I'm moving on to the next person that wants to commit to building their AMBIT business. And then I got another text message the other day asking for a 3-way phone call. My response was, are you committed to Ambition? Are you registered for Ambition? His response was, no. I said, I'll do your 3-way call when you register for Ambition. And he didn't register for Ambition. Until he knew, when he found out I was serious. And the very next day, he registered for Ambition, sent me a picture of his registration, said, can we do that 3-way call now? He's serious about his AMBIT business, folks, now. He's committed to his AMBIT business. Now, I didn't do that to be mean to him. I wanted to show him that I'm committed to his business if he's committed to his business. And I'll help him day after day after day after day if he's committed to helping other people succeed in this business. This business is too serious. There's too many people that you and I have to go out there and help, folks. And that's how you have to be committed to your AMBIT business. And when you do that, your business will grow. And you'll win that next 5-star trip because you're committed to helping other people succeed. Folks, so consistency. I mean, consistent daily action. You have to be consistent and persistent. You can't treat this business like a hobby. I mean, if you do, you'll get a hobby income, okay, which is very little. But if you're looking to make a life-changing income like a lot of us are, you have to consistently help people grow day after day. You have to consistently invite people day after day. You have to consistently add names to your list. I just added names to my list the other day. That's what I'm doing when I drive down to Myrtle Beach. I have Missy's driving down. I'm going to add to my list so that when we promote to national, those people are going to my national quota when we get back home from Myrtle Beach. I'm going to consistently do this when I'm down there day after day. It's not a vacation. It's a vacation with my family, but I'm going to consistently work my AMBIT business while I'm on vacation as well. And that's what you all have to do. Folks, life events get in our way, right? Go on vacation. That seems like it should be a break, right? But how many people can take 15 minutes a day and invite someone while you're sitting on the beach in Myrtle Beach? That's what I'm talking about. Okay? Don't let the ups and downs get to you in this business. Just because you get a no doesn't mean your business is over. You know, I just had someone do that the other day. They got 2 no's and they're out of the business now. They're done. I couldn't believe it. How many people get no's? Whatever you're doing with your land, I mean, my landscaping business, I got no's day after day after day. We did estimate after estimate after estimate. Did I quit with that business? Folks, I had thousands of dollars invested. Was I quitting? No. That's what you have here. You don't have thousands of dollars invested in your business, so take that no, set it aside, and go off and get that next yes. Get another no, get that next yes. Okay? Keep on going day after day. You know, Laura Shriver, she just promoted to executive consultant the other day. Give her a hand, folks. But she's one of the most consistent. I mean, she's always bugging me on the phone all the time, which I'm glad she does. But you know what? She just promoted the other day. She got no's right before that. I remember her calling me up and said, I'm never going to get this thing done. I said, Laura, just make another phone call and get it done. She goes, I'm moving into my brand new house, Tim. Do you understand? My life is very, very busy right now. I said, Laura, go out there and make another call. And she did. And she did. And the day she was moving into her house, she got the text message saying that her team in Rhode Island promoted her to executive consultant. Are you glad she was consistent? Do you think she was glad she was consistent, folks? Never quit attitude, folks. We cannot quit. We're sitting, like I tell everybody, we're sitting on a gold mine that everybody should know about, okay? We cannot quit this. We never quit our jobs. We never quit our businesses. And that's the attitude that we have to have with our ambit business, okay? Keep that positive attitude. Keep a positive attitude. Don't go home and complain to your wife that you just, did a home presentation and that person just said no, and the next night you come home and you got another no. That positive attitude or those negative attitudes can drag you down and down and down, and you're never going to win this game. You're never going to win. So keep that positive attitude. Know that you're going to succeed. Know that this business is changing a lot of people's lives, and it can change your life as well. My daughter, Hannah, a lot of you know her. 2 years ago, she was on the ski slopes, and her friend knocked her out, took her right out. She's standing on the ski. She wasn't even skiing. Her friend knocks her out, breaks her collarbone. Year before that, she was pitching. She's a softball pitcher. She was doing very well. And I remember that day in the hospital, that night at the hospital, she goes, Dad, it's done. It's over. I'm not going to be able to pitch this year. And she was right. She couldn't pitch that year, but it didn't mean her high school pitching career was over. So she missed that whole season, her sophomore season. The next year came along in January. She's doing great. We're pitching with her private pitcher coach. And a couple days after that, she notices her arm's purple. And come to find out that one of the screws in her shoulder was pushing against one of her arteries, causing it to cut off the circulation to her arm. And she had to go back in there in January, her junior year, take the plate out, which set her back 6 more weeks. She couldn't pitch. She's crying in the hospital. So we got over that. Doctor clears her in March. She starts pitching with her coach again. The second day she's pitching, she cracks her collarbone again. Cracks it, folks. So that's her pitching right there, folks. So she cracks it, and her season's done last year. She got maybe a few games at the end of the season, but it healed. She pitched. She did okay. In the last playoff game last year, I remember there was 3 pitchers on that team. Okay, and she wasn't the starting pitcher. She broke her heart. And she understood that, she's never going to quit. She will never quit. She went out after the season, kept pitching and pitching so that she could pitch this year. She went out and pitched with her private pitching coach. She's pitching right there this year right now. And she's the starting pitcher in Myrtle Beach on Monday at noon. So she never quit. She also landed on the front page of the Buffalo News recently right there because of her pitching, because she won a game or a scrimmage, folks. And she had the never quit attitude. And that's what I'm trying to drill into everybody's heads here today, is never quit with this ambit business. Never fail when you get that, never stop building your business when you get that no. Have that never quit attitude and be at the top of your game like she is right now, where she's pitching 160 pitches every single day. Killing her dad's hand right now. But I called her up and I was in Boston last week. I said, I can't wait to be home so you can hurt my hand again, Hannah. She goes, I've never heard that, Dad. She goes, but I told her I love the never quit attitude that you have. And she's starting in Myrtle Beach on Monday. And she's rocking it. So what I want you guys to do is just follow directions. The last thing here, actually, that's, we're going to back that up. Always follow instructions, okay? I don't know how many times I get calls from teammates, or I give them whatever they need to do, and they question me. Why would I do that? And they start arguing with me on the phone, and then all of a sudden, click. I know a few people got that click here too. Call me back up. I said, you know what? All I'm doing is trying to help you grow an ambit business here. I'm just following the number 5 money earners in the company. They just gave me the same instructions, and all I did from day one is follow those instructions. I didn't waver. I didn't argue with them. I knew that sometimes I picked up or got off the phone and I told Missy, I can't believe that little Texan told me this again. But you know what? I've always believed in following successful people in order to be successful. So I'm gonna follow Chris. I'm gonna follow Debbie. And that's what's built as a monster business, folks. Was we just were able to follow instructions, put those instructions into actions. We humbled ourselves. We're coachable and trainable. And that's what I want you all to be. Is coachable, trainable, humble yourself, listen to the leaders that are here today. I mean, this team here has a ton of leaders that are growing monster businesses. Latch on to one of them, follow what they're doing, and your business will grow to the top of the. Thank everybody for coming here today. And one last story is Chris Atkinson just drilled me hard when I got started. And it's not even a story. I just want to thank you, Chris, for everything you've done for us. So, Debbie, wherever you are, that's changed our lives. I can't thank you enough. We love you a lot. And I have the honor to bring up the next speaker here today, folks. And if it wasn't for her, our business wouldn't be where it's at. A lot of your businesses wouldn't be where it's at. Because she allowed her other half to fly up to Buffalo week after week after week to get this team started. And I can't thank her enough for allowing Chris to come up there every week for over a year straight to help all of us here in this room build our ambit businesses. So help me welcome the number 5 money earner in the company, Miss Debbie Atkinson.
Which was in November of 2006, this is what they said. The person with the biggest list is going to make the most money. That's all I had to say. That's all I had to hear. All right. Before I went to bed that night, and that was after training in Dallas, I had to drive 6 hours back to Galveston, and then I did my list, and it was 12 pages long. So, if you're an MC and you don't have 30 to 50 names on your list, you don't have a list. Make a bigger list. Because those that have the bigger lists are going to make the most money. And so everybody that you have on your list goes into a funnel. Now you can have a funnel that's this big, or you can have a funnel that's that big, full of people. What do you want? Big, right, okay? So everybody that you have on your list goes into the funnel, and then we start doing the Jumpstart training. We start the invitation, we show them the presentation, and then we find out where they are. They're either a yes, a no, or a maybe. They come out of the funnel. Well, the yeses we're all excited about. Sign them up, work with them. Actually, what I do to my very brand new marketing consultant is, who did you think of first? Get them on the phone, let's go talk to them right now. Right now, sure. I know it's 9:30 at night. This is important. Are they still up? It's okay, you know? Doesn't matter. Okay, so the yeses, we sign them up and we work with them. The no's, well, no means not right now. It doesn't mean no. It means they're not ready right now. It has to be on their time frame. You see, my sons said no to me for 18 months. 18 months. You know, I was kind of beginning to, like, what do you mean, no? Didn't you see $55 to unlimited debt? Didn't you see that? You don't get it? Oh my gosh, I thought I got the wrong kids at the hospital. And here's Esther Spina and her son David is already EC. Are you kidding me? I told Esther, I think you got my kid. But my sons, yeah, they jumped in 18 months later. Talk about your fortunes and your follow-up, and now they have yellow jackets. Yeah. So no means not right now. They go back into the funnel. And the maybes, maybe. What do you mean maybe? I don't get maybe, you know? But the maybes, they stay in the funnel too. And the people that you've already shown the presentation to, and they are either a maybe or a no, well, that's where you have to follow up with them. And I'm going to teach you today how to follow up. You're going to learn how to drip. You're going to learn how to compliment them and pique their curiosity. You heard Kim say, you know, calling them, even her own son, yes, my sons do the same thing. That's Mom, we'll text, you know. But that caller ID, it works good when you're getting a call, but when you're calling someone and they know it's you and they don't want to answer, right? So it goes to voice message. So I'm going to teach you how to drip by using the voice message method. Now, when they say, maybe I got to check with my spouse, I got to do this, I got to do that, you've got to set a follow-up time. Right then. If you've got them on the phone or you're with them, set that follow-up day. Okay, so when are you going to get to talk to your spouse? When are you going to whatever it is. So let's follow up. And hopefully it's in the next 24 hours. Set that follow-up time. Now, if you call them and you get them and they say, oh, I haven't had a chance, okay, set that follow-up time. But if you get a voice message, you're going to have to leave a short, brief message. Not anything longer than 15 to 30 seconds. And this is how it works. Hey, this is Debbie. I just wanted to call you and see if you had a chance to talk to your wife. Give me a call. That's not exciting. And I didn't compliment them at all. You think they're going to call me back? No, chances are slim. I know this works because I perfected it, and it took me 5 months to perfect this. So I know it works. You see, because I had a man that I showed this opportunity to in November of 2006. He was one of my very first people that I got to come to a presentation. You see, it was a stranger, actually. What happened was, when they said go home and make the big list and then start calling people, I did, so I went to bed. I had 12 pages long. I was a bit overwhelmed with my list, but the next morning I started calling people. And I found one guy that said, yeah, I'll take a look. And he came by the house and I showed this to him and he said, no, wasn't for him. I also heard at that training, I've got to ask for referrals. So I asked him, do you know somebody that might want to do this? And he said, you know, I do. I know one guy that might be interested. Great. Could you tell him, ask him if it's okay to give me his number, and then that way I can call him, because if it's a cold call, you know, I just like, call him, it's not going to work out too good. Now that's what I heard at the training, because this is the first time I've ever done any of this. He said, yeah, I'll let him know. So it wasn't an hour or two later, he calls me, he goes, okay, here's his number. He said, yes, call him. He's waiting on you to call him right now. Talk about the stress level go up, the fear, the anxiety. I was so nervous making that call to a total stranger. But I got him to agree to come to a presentation. Couldn't meet that day and come to a presentation. And when he did show up and he came. Now, I'll tell you who was in the room. Steve Thompson, Philip Eckhart, and Chris Atkinson. And I'm a marketing consultant. So I'm just barely getting started, right? So he comes and he shows up and he said, gotta talk to my wife. Okay, so I'll call you tomorrow. I already set my follow-up time. I'll call you tomorrow. I called him and he said, oh my gosh, no, I haven't had a chance to talk to her. I'm like, okay, well, when do you think you will? Okay, so I set another follow-up time in 2 days. Now, when I called him back in 2 days, he did not answer. There's caller ID at its best. He didn't answer, so I had to leave that message. And that was the message that I told you just a minute ago. This is Debbie, just want to see what your wife said. Give me a call. That wasn't exciting to him, and he didn't call me back. So I made a few follow-up calls with him, and, he didn't ever call me back. So then I learned how to pique his curiosity so he would call me back. In the meantime, I got promoted to regional consultant. So I called him and I'm like, hey, this is Debbie. I am so excited about this business. I got promoted. I'm a regional consultant. I really don't know what that means. It just means more money. But just think how fast you could get promoted to regional consultant. Call me back. And he did. Why? I complimented him and I piqued his curiosity. He called me back. He's like, regional consultant, you got promoted. What does that mean? I'm like, I don't know, more money. And now I'm into 55 to unlimited debt. And I'm like, just think how fast you could with your knowledge get promoted. So when can we get with your wife? And he's like, okay, well, let me get, and I'll call you back. Okay, did he? No. So now I'm like, okay, I follow up, he doesn't answer. So then something else exciting happened in my business. I got a check with a comma in it. Yeah, see the comma club? Yeah, those are exciting, get a check with a comma in it. So I got a check with a comma in it, I called him back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got a check with a comma in it, I'm so excited. Just think how fast you could get a check with a comma in it, call me back. He called me back. He's like, a check with a comment. I know, can you believe? I don't really know what I'm doing, but I've made over $1,000 just this week. Just think how fast you could do that with your knowledge. He's like, wow. I'm like, so when can we get you and your wife back out to the meeting or meet together? He's like, okay, I'll get back with you. Okay. Set up another follow-up time. He doesn't answer. Then something else exciting happened in my business. I got a check with a comment in and the first number was curved. Yeah, that's fun too. So I called him back. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I got another check with a comment and the first number is curved. Just think how fast you could get a check like that. Call me back. You see, all this time the caller ID is kicking in and he's knowing I'm calling him and bugging him, right? There is a fine line between dripping and stalking. And so he called me back. What do you mean the first number's curved? It's over $2,000. This is a weekly check. They come every week. Just think how that would change your life. Okay. Then I got promoted to senior, same thing, just, same telephone message. And he called me back. Yeah, senior consultant, I know, it's just more money, $135, unlimited debt. Just think how fast you could get promoted. It was that one time that Ambit had its first triple bonus promotion in Texas. And I called him back and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is the biggest promotion Ambit's ever had. You don't want to miss this, call me back. Pique their curiosity. Then they'll pick up the phone and they'll call you back. So he did, he called me back. He said, a special bonus promotion? Yes, it's triple. And I explained it all to him. That's when he got him. That fear of loss got him in. He didn't want, we were proven that it was working. He's figuring if she can do it, he could do it, right? So it's pay me now or pay me later. When I first shared this opportunity with him, I was a marketing consultant. I got promoted to regional, I got promoted to senior. He came in my senior organization, which helped me get to executive consultant. You see, pay me now or pay me later. Don't get upset about the no's. That means not right now or even the maybes. Learn to drip on them. This is a special skill that you will develop. It's not something that we just know know how to do. It's not instinct. It's something that you're going to learn over time. And is it worth it? Yes. Because this man jumped in my business 5 months later. Now he wears a yellow jacket. He's a national consultant. That's Pastor Kenny and his wife Terry Smith. And I've done this numerous times, because you've got to learn how to follow up with people. Now, there's a few key factors here that you do not want to fall into. One, you don't want to sound like you're needy. I need you in my business. I need you. Look, I'm one away from senior. I need you in my business because then I'm a senior consultant. You can't do that because they come in the business, you make senior, and it's not about them and they fail. Well, they did what they were asked to do, you see? So it's not about being needy. And another thing, you don't want to call them every single day so that they think they're the only person you have to follow up with. So I'll tell you the time frame of making these follow-up calls. So again, when you don't get them on the phone, when you get them on the phone, you set your follow-up time. But if you're leaving a message today, you follow up again in 24 hours. Now, you were supposed to call them that day, and they didn't answer, and it could be something's going on in their life, they just weren't able to answer. So the next follow-up call is 24 hours. The next, and then if you have to leave another message, the next follow-up call is 3 days. You leave another message. You don't call them again for a week, 7 days. Then after that, it goes to once every 2 weeks. You've got to space that time out. 24 hours, 3 days, 7 days, once every 2 weeks. And if you can, once every 2 weeks until they get your business. You see, one thing I heard is, you just keep following up till they say, if you call me one more time, I'm going to call the police. My personality is, I'm calling you one more time because I want to see if you call the police. And he thanks me to this day for not giving up on him. Because their lives are totally changed. Their lives, their children's lives, their grandchildren's lives, and they're leaving a legacy. So, yes, so follow up. You see, we know what we have our hands on. The problem is other people don't. So that's why they're not all that excited. So let me give you some statistics here. Can't see it up there. 48% of people never follow up on calls. 25% of people follow up 2 times, and 12% of people follow up 3 times. Only 10% of people follow up more than 3 times. Okay? What group do you want to be in? You really want to be in that 10% bracket. I know it's a lot of calls, but if your team's not keeping you busy enough, you got to be following up with the people that are back in that funnel. These are people that have already seen the presentation, okay? Plus, you should be showing the presentation on top of this. But 10% of people follow up more than 3 times. Now, here's another set of statistics. Only 2% of people sign up on their first contact or exposure. 3% of people follow up on their second. 5% of people follow up on their third. And only 10% of people follow up on their 4th contact or exposure. Here's where it jumps. 80% of people get in, sign up on their 5th to 12th contact or exposure. But we're in ambit, so we're going to say between the 7th and 11th contact or exposure, right? You see why you want to follow up with people? Because it increases your chances, your statistics of actually getting them to sign up. You see, they're wondering how well they're going to do if they haven't know enough people. They're wondering, it's all about, can I do this? You've already experienced there and helped them figure out why they should do this, what's in it for me. They're stuck on that second part. How well can I do this? Can I do this? And the more you follow up with them, you're able to show them this big vision on the 7th to 11th contact and actually get them signed up. You see, so that's why your fortunes and your follow-up. You do want to follow up with people. Again, don't sound needy and don't let them think that's the only person you have to follow up with. Remember, you have this big funnel, a lot of people in there knocking around, and they're going to come out. Now, another thing is when they say no, we gather them as a customer, right? You see, the man that said no, that really referred me to Pastor Kenny, he became my customer. In fact, his whole family's my customer, even his ex-wife. They're still my customer to this day. Yes. And that was in 2006. You see? So make them your customer. Actually, he did come into the business later on, and he's a regional consultant now. So, yeah, because he went back in the funnel. And I'm like, you're referring all these customers. You need to be in the business. And he was stuck on, can I do this? So again, follow up with people and increase your chances of having them say yes. So, hope that helped you. Did that help? I gotta tell you one thing. I go to trainings and I learn. I've been at, I don't even know how many ambit trainings I've been to, but I get residual income off of it. Anyway, but I tell you, I learn at every single training, and I've got to just say one more thing about Deb Cheslow. I have been with her, this is now my 4th weekend in a row to hear this, and I thought Chris and I were pretty positive, and we had it all together and everything, but week after week after week, what I've learned is I was letting a little bit of too much negativity in, and I was not filtering enough, and I was doing a few things that all of a sudden I changed. I just adjusted those sales a little bit just after being with Deb for 4 weekends in a row. And I've already seen a difference in our business. I've already seen a difference in us. And I can't say enough about it. Chris and I are actually taking her course just because you never stop learning to be better. So I'm excited about the course. I'm very excited about the course, and I hope you are too. And anyone that signed up, congratulations. In fact, our whole family is taking it because I think it's that worthwhile that, I have encouraged the kids. And they were like, oh, yeah, we got to take it too, right? So, again, congratulations for anyone that signed up. So I get the honor right now of bringing up the next speaker, and he, shared this opportunity with me, and I said yes. First I said no, and then I said yes, and then he asked me to marry him, and I said yes. I didn't even say no to that one, I just said yes. So please help me welcome up my husband, national consultant, Chris Atkinson.
Took you more than once to learn too. So we're all the same. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I just realized something today. Two Debs just scared the hell out of me. Well, one just left the stage and she said she had to get rid of negativity, and I realized I hadn't even been home in a month. Guess I'll stay in Erie and do the meeting Monday night. The second thing was Deb Cheslow. She scared the bejeebers out of me. I've been driving around for a month and now I know why. Did y'all watch her up here? When she was in her Civic and she said she was imagineering about being in the other one, she said she had one hand on the stick shift and one hand on the window. You do it with your knees or what? I don't know what people are doing these days, Look, I really hope that you guys have let stuff sink in. I truly do. Because I just believe that the information is just valid. For those of you that were still getting your sandwiches and getting signed up for Deb, we took a minute, we live streamed out to tell everybody about the next vacation. I want to make sure you guys know. 93 of us just got back from a 4-night cruise in the Bahamas. Yes, some of them were right here. We had a blast. Some of them remember 1 or 2 of the days. You know what I mean? If you think Tim Mullinger is cool now, wait till he has a couple of bottles of wine. He's a lot of fun to be around. But we just announced the next trip. I gotta tell you, that one was fun. 93 of us, we met in South Beach, we had Valentine's dinner together, we got on the ship the next day, we went out, we just had a blast. We had an honest-to-goodness blast together. People came back as better friends. So we announced the next one. The next one is gonna be May 7th to the 11th, of 2017. So we're giving you a year, May 7th to 11th, 2017. Fiesta Americana in Cancun, all inclusive, all the food, all the drink, that's already, they're gonna shut the beach down for us a little bit, they're gonna give us a cocktail party, because it's free anyway, so, you know, they're gonna throw all this in for us. However, you have to qualify to go. To qualify, starting right now to the end of April, you have to personally sponsor 2 whole people who trigger their bonus. That means you gotta teach. You gotta go to that list, you gotta make some calls, brief invitation I just heard. You gotta invite them to the meeting, one-on-one, sponsor them, make sure they trigger their bonus by the final day of April. That's it. Once you do that, you send an email to Cancun@team526.biz. In the subject, you just put Cancun, baby, and you tell us your name and who you sponsored. You will then get a reply and do the call to book it. Big payment plan, first payment due May 1st, then in August, then in November, and the last payment 2017. And there's probably going to be a couple of hundred of us that go together and have a great time, and I sure hope it's you, because it's going to be a blast. That's what we've learned. We've learned that everything, not just in Emmett, but in life, is about your attitude. We've learned that people that play together stay together. When people came home from that trip, they were they were asking me on the ship, what's the next one? They wanted to know right then and there. And so it's really coming crystal clear that those who play together stay together. And I don't know about you, but I'm here for the long haul. Are you guys? I mean, did anybody here join to not make money? You know? One guy. No, just kidding. But that means we have to change. We have to change our attitude. That's one thing we have to change. I think you've heard a lot about that today. You've got to be positive. So I need to ask a favor of a lot of you. You need to take that one word out of your vocabulary. A lot of you use that word, and honestly, I don't know why. That word does not make you sound mean or tough. That word does not make you sound smart. But some of you consistently use that word over and over, and people won't want to follow you when you use this word. However, my wife used that word just this morning, followed by the word you. Now, I don't know what y'all are thinking about, but the word is fine. That's the worst word you could ever use. How you doing, buddy? How you feeling today? You know, listen, if you're feeling crappy, tell us. How can we help you out of a situation if you're lying? If you're just blatantly lying to yourself because you're embarrassed, how can we help you? You have to let people know what's going on in your life. If you're having a great day, let us know that too. But for goodness sakes, take this word out of your vocabulary. Shared this last week, and then one of the people came up to me after the meeting, and they said, I Googled that word, do you know what it means? I said, of course I do. F up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. She said, how'd you know that? I said, I grew up in the 12-step programs of Alcoholics Anonymous. A bunch of us were fine. But you have to learn to change everything. I promise you, if you just change your attitude, things will begin to open up. Look, I've been spending a few nights in the hotel as we travel around doing this training, and I'll be walking down the hall and cleaning people are in the hallway. They say, "Hi, good morning, how are you?" Wonderful! And they walk to the other side. They're not used to it. They're used to people being grumpy all the time. Do you want to be around grumpy people, yes or no? Then why would you be one? Maybe that's why people don't want to hang around you. When they ask you how you doing, if you say fine, they're walking the other way, and now you know why. They think you're insecure, neurotic, and emotional. Be you. You're wonderful and beautiful and blessed just the way you are. Be you. But allow us to see the real you. Bring it out. Start to be that shining star. There's some decisions you'll have to make at some point. Are you going to be a secret agent with Abbott, or are you going to be someone that shares it with the world? So there's some things that you have to, like a willingness to succeed. That always drove me, why do we have to give ourselves permission to make a lot of money? Well, I've learned in the last 3 weeks, because that thermostat is set. We're broke. We're stuck. We're not willing to make a change and be the change. But at some point, some of you will learn that it's okay to be successful. It's okay to make a lot of money. I learned it through accountability. That's exactly how I learned it. I'm sitting in the car. My sponsor's driving. We just left a training. He's on speakerphone with the person in the next car, so behind us, as we're going wherever we're going to eat after the training. And they're having a great conversation. I just yelled out. I said, I want to be a millionaire. Now this was just after training. I just screamed it out in Steve's car. Dude, I want to be a millionaire. The person heard me and yelled back and said, tell him he already is. He just doesn't have the money yet. It's that mindset. It's that absolute mindset to make your own change. Become willing to be the change. And then the daily effort starts. It's day after day after day, little things. We're not asking him to make 100 calls every day. He did. But just make a few. But do it every day. Not every so often. You'll never get in a pattern then. It'll never become a system. You have to do it day after day after. How often do you guys go to work? How often did you guys go to school? They made it a pattern. Seems to be working fine for them. But for some reason, a lot of us still treat this, well, as a hobby. And at some point, we need to start to realize this can be more than a hobby. You can turn this into whatever income you want. But life is just crazy. This is where I was living. I just kind of want to take you guys on a history tour. This is where I was living, and I would have invited y'all there, but we have to be real careful, because like the kitchen was a hole. There was no floor left. My payment there was $325, and I couldn't make the payment. So I got foreclosed on, and I moved to this house. You can see right there in the bottom right, that's my room. That was a 10 by 10 room at my mom and dad's house. That's where they are still right now. So they allowed me to move back in again, and 10 days after I moved back in, I'm looking down at my phone, and it said Steve Thompson calling. There's a picture of Steve right there if you've never seen him. Steve says, hey, I need you to get to Dallas and talk to a guy named Brian McClure, and Brian wants to talk to you about joining us in Abbott. So I said, okay. So I went up to Dallas, and I liked what I saw. Didn't know a single person that didn't use electricity. I just didn't have any money. And so it took me a day to get started. Had to find someone that lent me the money. I got started the next day, and 3 years later, we earned over $1 million. But getting started was tough. You see, how are you supposed to show people how to make $39,000 a month when you're driving an '89 Camry with 250,000 miles on it? And every time you turn the steering wheel, it goes click, 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 click. How in the world are you supposed to do that? And so he said, you got to start to dream. So this is our vision board today. This is some fun things that we have. The Cruise was one of them. Debbie's Bentley was one of them. Yeah, we're shooting. We want to change our jacket color. So it's on our vision board so we see it every single day. That's one thing that helps us with the daily effort. Because we're looking at something day after day. We're not just wishing for it. We're seeing it day after day after day. My first vision board started on a cork board that I borrowed from my mom. Asked her if I noticed it in a closet, asked her if she had some thumbtacks, and I asked my dad for permission to use his computer, and so I could go online and Google some things and print out the pictures. And so he agreed, and so I printed out a few things. I printed out a soccer ball. I printed out some slacks. Some of you may notice that drawing is from The Secret. If you bought The Secret, it came with that poster in the very beginning. I cut the poster out and I put it on the vision board. The reason I put it on there is because to me that person, the way that they had all the aura and the arrows coming off of it, that person represented helping others. And so that started to catch on with me very early on. But now I joined on Friday, October the 13th, 2006 at 6:30 p.m. Now, as you know, checks are calculated from midnight Friday. Well, I got a check the next Friday. And so the check was for $100. And so I went and I cashed the check and I bought a soccer ball. Now the reason I bought that is because my son was 15 years old. He was playing on multiple teams and we didn't even have a soccer ball for him to use in the backyard to practice. So I picked up the soccer ball. I went to school to pick him up. He opened up the door, had to move the soccer ball just to get in the car. Folks, I started crying on the way home. I want you to remember again, he was 15 years old. For me, this was my actual first father-son moment. It took 15 years to get to a father. Not because of him, because of me. Drugs and alcohol, and I guess going to jail was just more important than being a dad. And so this was our first time in the car together, father-son moment. He was so excited. As soon as we got home, he ran to the garage, got that little air pump, he pumped it up. He said, "Dad, come on, we're going to the backyard. It's time for me to finally teach you how to play soccer." So we're in the backyard, little house, and he's kicking the soccer ball back and forth. We're going back and forth with it. He says, "Dad, you're going to be the goalie now." I said, "Okay." So I'm the goalie. I'm standing there, and he kicks, I catch it. Kicks, I catch it. Kicks! Grabbed my pocket knife, hit it. No, just kidding. We kicked that soccer ball for a good hour or so. 15 years old. First father-son moment in my heart. I grabbed the soccer ball, I grabbed him, I said, "Son, I gotta go. I have an appointment and I can't break it. I gotta go start our future." Oh, by the way, this was my birthday. So it's my birthday. First father-son moment. Just kicking the soccer ball. And I said, "I gotta leave you. I gotta go." Matter of fact, I gotta go to a lady that already said no. And so I drive 35 miles, pull up to Debbie's house, thank the Lord, where she lived had a huge turnaround. So I got to turn real wide so she didn't hear clank, 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 clank. Turn real wide. Got the car pointed the other way. Went in there, shared the information with her. There was no way she could say no. So she got started immediately. But you see, the next Friday I went out and I bought the slacks. The next Friday I went out and bought the sports coat and the dress shirt. You see, because I've never had a Friday without a paycheck. But I've also had a goal since day one. And I've kept increasing the goals. And the same thing you can do. 15 months into the business, I wanted a Corvette. Didn't know how to get it, but I've always wanted one since I was 15 years old. So I finally thought life was going good, and I went into the dealership, and I said, "That's the one I want," and I filled out the paperwork, and the guy came back a few minutes later laughing. Said, "With a 397 credit score," tore up my paperwork. I did what any 39-year-old grown man would do. I called my sponsor crying like a little baby. Didn't know, I thought my life was ending. I mean, I had a dream, I had a goal, and it just got crushed. It took the breath away from me. That's why it's important to always call your upline. It's vital. Some of you get somebody that says no, they laugh at you, they make fun of you. They tell you that's a scam, they're stupid for doing it. and you just go home and sulk and turn on the TV and drink a beer. I called my sponsor and said, this is what happened. What do I do? He said, go back in 3 months and pay cash. What? It's $52,000. How am I going to do that? I said, get to work. All right. So I got to work. 89 days later, I drive 8.5 hours to do a meeting that nobody showed up to. Woohoo, excited. Drove back. Stopped by that dealership. There's the salesman. Walk right up. Excuse me. Walk to the other salesman. Why would I give him any credit in the world? Walked right up to this one and said, I have $52,000 in my pocket. Can you help me buy that cash for that phone? Why would I give him the satisfaction of anything? So let me ask you this, ladies. Whoever does your nails or your hair, are they your consultant or customer? Because if they're not, you better not ever go back to them.
Amen.
You better not ever go back to them. If somebody mows your grass and they're not your customer or consultant, you better find somebody else. Matter of fact, if you're mowing your own grass, you better not ever do that crap again. That's a waste of time. You're wasting time that you can be out sharing this opportunity with someone else. Whoever has your car insurance, if they're not your customer or consultant, there's another office right down the street. Whoever your chiropractor is, it doesn't, oh my God, I love that story. Just came out on Facebook the other day. Guy said, I heard this last weekend, went to my chiropractor, asked him, and he said, no. So I went up to the receptionist, I said, can I have all my paperwork because I'll never step back into this office ever again. Stand up for yourself. How many of your business owners? Every hand should be up. You're all business owners. You just don't treat it that way. You're treating this like a hobby. You have to understand you are the business owner. So our life began to change. We wanted a new house, so we got one. But then we got stuck just like Deb and Deb said. What's next? We had to regroup and refocus and realize we had gotten ourselves stuck. It was time to start the new vision board. I said, well, I got a great idea. How about another Corvette? I said, but I don't like red. Can we change it up just a little bit? And then I went on a 3-week trip. I come back and I found out that our house had been sold and it's time to find another one. And so we looked at a few houses. We pulled up to this last house and we pull up to in the front and it only has 2-car garage. I said, I'm not interested. She said, what? I said, there's only 2 cars. I want more. And then we started going through the tour. First thing I realized is when the garage door was open, it's a tandem garage. I can actually fit 5. So I got a little bit more excited. And so I walked through and out to the back. You see a 220-foot fishing pier. I just walked out there. I walked up to the top deck and I turned back around. I'm looking at the house. After 10 or 15 minutes, Debbie walks out and she says, what are you thinking about? I said, I'm thinking, what do we go off? She said, you hadn't been inside. I said, do I get to decorate? She said, no. I said, no need to go inside. Lightning bolt strike me if I'm lying. So we made an offer on the house and we moved in. As soon as we moved in, I walked right back to that same spot. I took a picture of it. I walked inside, I hooked the camera to the printer, I printed the picture. I showed it to Debbie. She fell on the floor because she almost fainted. I asked her, I said, what's going on? What's wrong? She took the picture and she walked up to our vision board and she put it right on the vision board. She said, wow, we had that picture up there 3 years ago. And you still won't build a vision board tonight. Deb Chesel last year, who has stated goals that they believe in wholeheartedly, and a few of you raised your hands. I'm telling you, I've made over $8 million in 9 years because I've had a vision board since the very first day. And I have it again today. I've never gone a day without looking at it. It's right in front of us. Success can be yours. Yeah, we've changed the house up a little bit now. It's white with purple lights. I don't know where that comes from, but maybe we'll have to change the lights to dark gray here in just a few more months. I don't know. But you know, you just have to keep focused on everything that's going in life. And at some point, things will begin to happen. Yeah, we've won some trophies along the way, but my favorite trophy is right there. That's that soccer ball down in the trophy case. Gave that to him for Christmas because I went up to see him in Buffalo and saw the soccer ball and it was just tore up. Still playing with it today. So I bought him a new soccer ball for Christmas, bought him all kinds of new cool stuff for his truck, and the only thing he cared about was the trophy case. You see, what's going to be your trophy in life? What's going to be that something that allows you to make an honest difference? What is it that's going to keep you awake at night, just with this feeling inside like, I know I want to accomplish X. I know I want to purchase something. You have to dig in and find that. Nobody can tell you what it is. We're all different. But it needs to be something. If you just want to increase your savings account, I can be okay with that. But show us the report every single month. Show us that it's increasing exponentially. Reach out for something and begin to have it. You have to, because at some point we have to begin to have vision. You guys ever see that slide? Obviously, that's where we are today, right? Now, if you can imagine what we've just done in Texas, about 5% market share in the state of Texas. It's only taken us a decade to get 5% market share in Texas, and we're growing strong. I'll be honest with you, it's still our fastest growing state in all of AMDA for us personally. Oh, by the way, Pennsylvania is number 2. So, play this game with me. There's 16 states. Just take 5 of them. And now imagine in those 9 states plus Texas, so in those 9 other states, all we do is repeat what's already been done. Okay, so are we asking for the impossible? We're asking to repeat what has already been accomplished. Once we do that, Amway is no longer the largest network marketing company in the world. However, just to screw things up, they went ahead and took us to 16 states. When you get to Dallas in September, they're going to give you another one. And so life keeps going. But, you know, what about when it looks like that? Have you started to give yourself a little idea of how lucky, blessed, and fortunate you are? See, you found out about it like this. Others are going to find out about it like that. Where would you rather join? Would you rather join in 17 years when we finally launch Idaho for those 6 people? Are you just glad you're already in? Well, but, I mean, if you are, what are you going to go do different tonight, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday? What are you going to go do different to prove it? It's one thing to say it. It's another thing to go do what Deb Chaslow talked about. That's put the action in. Because, you know, we're not done there. It goes through. It definitely goes through. So we need to start to remember certain things. Yeah, this is messing up. You know where we are now, and that's where we're going. If we know that to be certain, and we know that this is a simple system, then we got to learn to follow it. People ask us all the time, what'd you do? Folks, we made a list. We learned how to invite from making mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. We started to learn to invite one day to present the next. We were so silly and dumb and stupid in the beginning that at the end of it, when we said, are you ready to get started, yes or no? If they said no, we walked away. We did not even think to ask them to become a customer. That's how dumb we were. We figured that out, and all of a sudden our customer base just started growing. We sponsored roughly 300 people. Over 1,000 said no. Don't worry about the no's. I don't worry about the negativity. I only worry about the people who are ready to join, get started, make a positive change in their life and their family's life through helping others. That's all we do. There's not one thing complicated about building AMDA Energy. special, we're not tall, we're not anything. We're just people. But we have this strong desire to help others. I hope you grasp onto it. I hope you start to hold on a little bit tighter. I hope you start to help more people. Because our business is going to go just tremendously. I just hope it goes with you. I hope it goes with you. You know, we've already had 37 people get their jackets. Why not 37 more? And then 37 more after that. Why not you? Would you look good in yellow?
No, I need
Or purple? You have vision. If you don't have vision, it's never coming true. If you don't have vision, it's never coming true. But if you never take the action, it will never happen either. You have to begin to take action each and every single day. Today, I hope you learn. I hope you listen. And the help of the Masons, Tim Ollinger, my wife, just an onslaught of them, just amazing executive consultants, just spilling their hearts out to you for their testimonial. I mean, people who have been there and done that and continue to do it. When we're done today, I hope you grab a hold of one of them and realize that if a 34-year-old kid can get a yellow jacket, so can you. And I hope you spend a minute with Deb Chesney. I'm sure she could have found something to do in Daytona Beach. Instead, she's where it's 26 degrees this morning, and we didn't even let her wear a jacket. Because she wanted to be here with each and every single one of us. I was watching her at the break as you guys had questions. She stopped. She answered. And that's what they're going to do the rest of the night. Hey, listen, when we're done, their table's going to open back up. If you didn't get a chance to sign up with them, I hope you do. I believe in it. I've seen the results already. Oh, but Chris, I really can't afford it. Let me ask you this way. How many of you, honest to God, want success? She gave you a guarantee. If you do this and follow that, you will have success. Is it worth $100 to change your life? I think so. Something happened to allow you to join Ammon. Some moon aligned with the stars so somebody will think about you, so you can even join the company. And I'm sure you're grateful for that, because you see the possibilities. I hope you begin to share that with others so they can see the possibilities. Stop being the secret agent and start being the full-time agent that helps people all along the way. Hey, God bless you guys. I hope you absolutely go out and explode your business to all kinds of just utter degrees. And I also hope you don't go anywhere, because this is where we get to play and have fun. A lot of you have been working your tails off. Don't go anywhere, because listen, when the day comes that you get pinned, I'm sure you want everybody watching you as you strut your stuff up across the stage too, right? So in the meantime, just for a second, go ahead and stand up. Go ahead and stand up, shake it out just a little bit.